Hey, it's Emily. Two quick things before we start. First, Rae took time out of her crazy schedule to meet us at the venue before her show, so if you hear any background noise, no, you don't. Secondly, for all our New York listeners, Not Dead Yet Media will be hosting the Indie Music Network podcast live on June 24th at Keysmith Gallery, located at 170 Forsyth Street from 6:30 to 10 p.m. In our view, the indie scene in New York is back and growing, but not without its challenges. No one has all the answers, but we're bringing together industry people who are committed to supporting indie music and culture, generating ideas to support each other and address the issues, and working together to come up with solutions. You can also check out the latest art exhibit in the gallery, Edie 66, which is a rare video of Andy Warhol's muse and superstar, Edie Sedgwick. There will also be other contemporary photographers of Warhol's time from the factory and a live music performance. You can find tickets on our website at www.notdeadyetmedia.com, and we hope to see you there. I'll be there. Welcome back to Emily Spins It. I'm Emily, and today I have Rae Radick with me. Hey, Rae.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I've been looking forward to this and meeting you guys.
I've been looking forward to meeting you too. I was lucky enough to see your show, Iconic Women of Music, here in New York at the beginning of May, so I was really excited when you wanted to come on and chat. I'm just going to read through the bio you sent real quick. So you are originally from Bucks County, Pennsylvania, but now you're in Nashville, and you've always loved music. So you were in dance classes starting at age 3, is that right?
That is right. My mom tells a very funny story how it was my first dance recital at 3. We go on stage and it was a ballerina song, and the girl stands in my spot and I shoved her over and I was like, "No, you stand over there." And I corrected her and my mom was like sinking in her seat. She's like, "I am so sorry."
No, you
So
know
back
what?
then I was a perfectionist.
I was going to say, I think that's a good sign, actually.
Mm, all the tendencies of being perfect just coming out at 3.
Well, you're clearly very ambitious because by 12 you were writing your own songs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now you are a professional actress, singer-songwriter, and model, and you performed at in Atlantic City, the USS Midway in San Diego, and on Fox and Friends, right?
Oh yeah, I did the whole thing. It's been so amazing to hear some of my credits relayed back to me. It's like, oh yeah, that's right, I did do that. Because when you're performing and you're in a flow, you're like, oh, that's right. Like I was in Atlantic City. I forgot. Oh, I did go to San Diego with the USO. Like so many things.
Oh, the USO. You did it with
Yeah,
them?
it was with the American Bombshells. They're an affiliate of the USO.
Okay, that's awesome. I've never heard
Mhm.
of them, so there you go. I
Yeah.
also had a fan reach out and tell me you are a big fan of breakfast foods.
I love breakfast food. You know what it is? I feel like life is so hard these days, and you have to find your vice. And of course, one of my vices is music, but in terms of like a physical form, anytime I'm having a bad day or I'm nervous about something, I will always reach for breakfast food. And my favorite is like, give me some scrambled eggs with some salt and pepper, some potatoes, some toast, and bacon. I'm good to go.
As far as vices go, that's like a pretty wholesome one. That's really sweet, actually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as a singer, like I can't smoke, I can't do
Yeah.
drugs, I can't drink for health problems. So it's like,
Yeah.
well, I guess I'll just eat breakfast.
Guess I'll just have eggs.
Mhm,
Guess I'll just
pretty
have
much.
protein.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta stay sharp, You gotta stay on
Absolutely.
top of your stuff.
So in addition to all of this work you've done for your own, like for Rae Radick, you also now you've developed and star in a one-woman show called The Iconic Women of Music, like I mentioned, but you perform as like a wide variety of iconic women in music, including Linda Ronstadt, Dolly Parton, Stevie Nicks, Tina Turner, Cher. How did you come up with this idea?
Interestingly enough, it was very organic and easy to come up with. So I've been performing since I was, oh my gosh, probably professionally, and I mean professionally as in like getting a paycheck and getting hired from clients since I was about 18 years old. And so I've been doing this for a long time, and every time I perform, I always performed a wide variety of people. And so as I'm getting older and I moved to Nashville, Tennessee, and I was looking to do my own projects, and I was always a part of somebody else's vision. I was always the girl in somebody else's band or that type of thing. And so I sat down and I was like, I really want to start my own band. How could I do this? And then when it came to Iconic Women of Music, I was like, oh, this is a no-brainer. I've been doing these things since I was 18 years old. And when I say these things, I mean these icons. I've been singing Respect at weddings since I was 18 years old by Aretha Franklin. And, same with 9 to 5 and Man, I Feel Like a Woman since I was 18. So I have these songs in my arsenal. And so something that was really cool that I didn't think of until I met with a marketing person was the fact that this is a one woman show, because there's so many female tributes out there. And when I took this to them and I said, hey, I have this idea for a show. I'd really like to bring it to the next level. They were like, okay, how many girls are there? And I said, it's just me for right now. And they said, oh, well, there are other female tributes out there, but usually it's 2 and 3 girls and it's just you. I said, yeah, basically I'm on a budget. And they were like, no, this is actually perfect because there's no one woman shows out there. They said the fact that you're an actress and you can change from a country Dolly Parton all the way to a soulful Aretha Franklin to Tina Turner. They said we can really use this. And so all to say, it was very, very organic and something that I guess I've been doing since I was 18. So I didn't even have to really sit and develop any further than what was already in my arsenal.
How do you plan for a trip like this, though? Like, you have over a dozen costume changes. You have a band that plays with you in every city. You had a band in New York. I'm assuming that's the case as well. Yeah. Do you tour with that band, or do you find local musicians in every city you go to? Like, what goes into like the logistics of this for you?
Yeah. So in terms of the bands, I have an East Coast band and a South band. So that way, wherever I get a booking, I'll just pick, okay, who's closest. And so I kind of do it from there. I think eventually I'll branch out and do a West Coast band, but as of right now, I just have North and South. And then in terms of the logistics, I just wear a lot of hats. Um,
It's a one woman show, so clearly
it
you're
is
doing a lot.
I'm all of the things. And of course, I have a marketing team and I have a booking agent and all of those things. But when it comes to the creative aspect, which of course I'm an artist, I like to wear all the hats because I'm there saying, okay, I want to create a costume for Dolly Parton. And then I'm saying, okay, what color do I associate with Dolly? Yellow. Okay, great. Perfect. And then I contact a costume person and I say, okay, hey, Dolly's really into sparkles. I want these types of sparkles. I want these rhinestones. I want this kind of dress. And so I like being very hands on with everything. And then in terms of the multiple costume changes, I'm just used to that because I'm a dancer. I was competing in competitions ever since I was 9 years old. And so costume changes are kind of, again, already in my arsenal, already things that I'm affiliated with. So it was really, they sound more intimidating than they are.
No, so it sounds like it was like like you said, a natural organic progression of what you were already doing. So that's such a
Yeah.
creative way to fold that in. What made you pick these? I mean, how many are there? There's at least like
It depends
14?
on which show. I think
Okay.
for the 90-minute show, there's probably 11 artists. For the 2 hour show, I believe we're up to 14 or
Yeah,
15.
so I feel like it was at least 14. So okay.
Hmm. And I guess what made me pick them is the fact that I've been doing this for a long time and I know what works. I know what artists people resonate with the most, as well as what songs hit hardest. And again, I think that just all comes back to experience. The only thing that really took a turn for me was making sure that all of the genres were included, as well as all of the icons. So, for example, I don't really have a lot of experience with Selena or Gloria Stefan because in all of the shows that I've ever had to do, I was never the one that had to perform Selena or Gloria. And then I really wanted to make sure that I included the Latinas in this show as well. So I guess just making sure that I covered all of my bases in terms of soul, in terms of pop, in terms of 80s and 90s icons as well. But yeah, I guess like I said, it just comes from experience.
It's funny you say you pick artists that resonate with people because but my mom was in town that night of your show, and she asked me what I was up to, and I was like, oh, I'm going to this show, and she knows I see lots of different genres and varieties, and I was like, oh, do you want to come with me? And she was like, well, who is it? Because she loves music, but like she also wants to make sure it's music she enjoys. And so when I read it to her what it was, she was like, oh my God, that sounds perfect. Okay. I was like, yeah, this is literally the perfect show for you to join me. She had so much fun. It was a really good time. So you definitely picked like solid choices to get everyone in the crowd.
That's my plan is, I really want to make sure that, people who are our parents, like they're making sure that they're getting their dose of nostalgia, but also I have to make sure that people who are, Gen Z or even teenagers, like everybody knows who Dolly Parton is. Everybody knows Cher. Everybody knows Madonna. So just making sure that I pick all of the
Yeah,
ones
you
that
ran
are
the
just
gamut.
Exactly. Yeah.
Would you say in your personal music, there's one of these women that maybe inspires you more than others, or like a handful?
It's funny, when I first started the show, it was very easy to answer this question because ever since I was a little kid, I've loved Stevie Nicks. She was my first concert that I went to. So Stevie Nicks is like, she has been a part of my journey ever since I was a kid. And same with Shania Twain. You know, she was the one, Shania, who made me want to be a singer. But in developing the show and portraying all these women and really tapping into their brands and their songs and the way that they sing, because everybody sings differently, now looking back, I realize how all of them affect me differently. And what I mean by that is like Stevie and Shania have been staples for me. However, when I did my research on Madonna, I realized, oh my goodness, fashion is really, really important. Like, of course, everybody knows fashion is important in the industry, but she was very specific with her fashion choices. And then if you do your research, you know, everybody had the bangles and the lace and, you know, the fishnets that Madonna wore. And so now when I perform as Rae Radick as a singer-songwriter here in Nashville, I'm very particular and purposeful with what I wear and why I'm wearing the colors that I wear or the sparkles that I wear or, you know, shoes that I wear.
Yeah, I mean, I know I don't ever want to make artists feel like they're being boiled down to like a brand because that's not fair, but having an identifiable aesthetic is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at someone like Chapel Rowan. You know, if you look
Yeah.
at her trajectory as a singer-songwriter, she was just a normal person, you know, just doing the
Mm-hmm.
normal thing. And then after she really started to get her big numbers, she switched over and now she's like, she's got the full glam and
Yeah,
the
she's a drag queen
makeup.
now. Yeah,
Yeah. But that
that's
only didn't
crazy.
happen until she changed her aesthetic.
Exactly. And now it's something identifiable with her. It's something she can play with, and it's what people will talk about maybe after the show, if not her vocals. So I agree. I think having an identifiable look is really good. So I always ask about the first show you attended. You said it was Stevie Nicks. How old were you when you
Mhm.
went?
I was 8 years old, and I remember my grandmother got me tickets, and I knew every song, and I was named. I just like I just loved her, and ever since I was a kid, I would always say to my grandparents, "Play the pretty lady, play the pretty lady," and obviously it was Stevie. And so when I saw her in person, my grandmother wrote a note, and she gave it to the security guard, and was like, "This is the first concert she's ever been to. She loves singing and dancing to Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac. Would you please ask Stevie to give her a shout out, or you know, if she would bring her to her dressing room after the show?" And of course, like that never happened. I don't know if the security guard even gave it to her, but just the fact that my grandmother went out of her way to write a note, it was very sweet, and I'll never forget it.
That's so precious. Has your family always been like really encouraging of your music career?
Yeah, I am so blessed. My family is great. My parents recognized my passion for music at a young age and they encouraged it. So they put me in dance classes and voice and guitar and piano. And they've always said, you know, just be yourself, do what you want to do what makes you happy. And they still say that to this day. And I'm very fortunate to say that I'm a full-time performer, but it was because they supported me so strongly.
That's really lovely. It's funny when some I've been doing this for like a couple of months now, and when you start off, you expect to hear certain things. Like when I ask people that question, I expect to hear more of like, well, maybe not. But so far, I've had a lot of people be like, no, my parents were really supportive, and I think that's incredible because art needs to be like cultivated and it needs to have like safety to grow. So I think that's so special when families are so supportive like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like parents are really catching on, you know, in the previous generations, it was like, you know, go to college, get a job, get married, get a house, get a car, have kids. And now that our parents have kind of gone through that and even our grandparents, I feel like they're catching on of, you know, those things are beautiful. However, nothing beats following your passion and nothing beats creative outlets. And so I think that might be why a lot of parents are encouraging their kids to just do what they love. Life is short. Be
There's
happy.
also so many, it's become clearer how many alternative paths you can take to get to where you can express yourself creatively and sustain a life creatively. You got your first check playing when you were 18. Was that the first like show you played as a solo artist, or were you playing before that?
That was when someone hired me. So I've been performing since I was 3 in dance. And then I got my first singing role in the school play when I was in sixth grade. So that's about 12 years old. And
What
then
show?
it was Music Man. I
Oh,
was I
cute.
was Mary and the librarian. And then
Nice.
from there, my parents were like, "Oh, she's pretty good." So then they encouraged me to join the church choir, and that's where I like sang in church every Sunday, and I got my chops up in terms of learning music really quickly and harmonizing and working with the group and following a director and things like that. So that was from when I was 12 all the way till I was 16. And then by 16, I was writing songs. I was doing, doing the whole artist thing. And that's when I cut my first album. I was 16 years old. And, back then, my parents aren't in the industry. My mom's a teacher and my dad's a contractor. So they're not in the music business whatsoever. So we made the album and then that was it. We just kind of gave it to our friends and family and was like, there you go, have fun. And then I would perform locally, but 18 years old was when somebody actually called me for an event and hired me and actually gave me a paycheck for my services. So that was very fulfilling.
That's awesome. And so you said you sang at weddings too?
Yeah. So 18 is when I started singing at weddings and just doing private birthday parties and things like that. It was a lot of the privates were solo acoustic. However, the weddings, that's when I was able to work with like other people and big bands as well. And I was also in college at the time. So it wasn't as frequent as when I graduated college and I had all this time to do weddings every weekend. But 18 is when I started dipping my toe into the like, oh, okay, so this is what it's like to be part of a 12-piece band and there's requested songs that you have to know and oh, there's no rehearsals. You just kind of show up and do it. It was a big learning experience, but it really set me up for the music industry.
Did you ever play on like the Broadway bars too? I recently went to Nashville for the first time and I was shocked at the just like skill of all of those Nashville musicians because obviously we have live music in the city, but I kind of feel like in Nashville it's a bit different where it is more like requests. It is more like covers and they throw their own songs in there, but the variety of music is nuts.
Oh, absolutely. When I first moved to Nashville, that's all I did. I was performing in all the bars 7 nights a week. People called me the Queen of Broadway because I was always working. But and of course, my knowledge of songs is pretty extensive. If someone wants an older song versus a top 40 song, I most of the time I knew it. But yeah, I did the Nashville scene for quite a bit, and then I was like, okay, I gotta move on.
It was so mind blowing to me. It seems like, in addition to like wedding bands, such a great place to learn how to hone your craft.
Absolutely. I will say the Nashville bar scene, that's probably my biggest advice if you're a Nashville performer and you don't have experience, again, with weddings or anything like that. That's exactly where you go to hone your craft. Luckily for me, I was pretty seasoned when I moved to Nashville, so I didn't really need to hone anything. I was just kind of doing the bar scene because that's how you live in Nashville. You just perform every night to hundreds of people. But I will say that's probably my biggest advice is for newcomers is if you are in Nashville, go to Broadway, hone your craft, understand what it's like to get stage presence and interact with the crowd and perform with different musicians, and that really, really helps.
So you did bring two songs for us today. The first one is Why I Did It. Can you chat with us maybe a bit like your inspiration, the production, how the song came to be?
So, as we talked about before, these icons all affect me as a songwriter and as an artist. And so up until now, I would say, I got a lot of my inspiration in terms of lyrics and vibes from Stevie Nicks. But I was sitting there and I was like, I have no like Shania Twain vibes. And what I mean by that is just like fun bops. Say what you want, but Shania Twain's got very catchy songs. So I was like, I really need to make a song in Shania's lane of like something that is fun and catchy and just like you bebop to. And so it just came to me. I was coming home from the gym one night and I was just riding in silence and the hook, I don't know why I did it, but I did it. It's gonna take a while. And I was like, oh, I really like that. So I recorded it on my phone and I let it sit for a couple weeks and then I couldn't get it out of my head. And that's when I know I have a good song is when I can reiterate the melody weeks later. And that's also the formula for a hit song. If you can hear the chorus once and be able to sing it back, that's a good chorus. It's a strong chorus. So after I knew that this is going to be a good song, I contacted my friend in New York. Her name is Pam Stiebler, and she's my songwriting partner. And I said, hey, I think I have a really good song. I would really love to hear your opinion on this. And I sent her just rough lyrics, rough melodies. And she sent it back to me and she's like, girl, I want to work on this song with you. This is a really good song. I think this is very catchy and it could be good for your repertoire. So then we just worked on it. It took us about a week. And then that was it. Off to the races. Recorded it, put it on Spotify.
I wrote the song about what artist inspires you from your group after listening to this song because immediately I was like, "Oh, this sounds like it could be like a Shania song. Like you could hear the influence in it." And I had listened to like a couple of your songs by then, so I definitely see what you mean about like, "Oh, I you wanted to move towards more of like a fun boppy." It is really fun. It's a good song. So let's listen to it now.
Cool. Enjoy.
One shot is all I need. I don't know why I did it, but I did it. It's gonna take a while. I knew it and I hit it in my heart. All the loving and attention for affection made me run away. I don't know why I did it, but I did it, and I do it all over again.
Welcome back. So the other song you brought for us is More Woman to Give. This is a bit of a departure, I think, for you. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. It's so
Yeah.
different.
So do you want to talk about how you came up with this one?
I wish I had a story for this, but I don't. It just came to me. I was just sitting there writing on my piano and I had this chord progression and I was like, oh, this is cool. This is moody. And after I wrote the song, I was like, this is not for me. I'm going to give it to somebody else. And I had another singer in mind for it. After I talked to my friend Pam and I was like, hey, girl, I have this song and I don't think it's for me, but I was thinking about this person to sing it. And she was like, yeah, I think this could be really good. I think we need to make some tweaks here and there. So after we kind of fine-tuned the song, I was ready to pitch it to the one person I had in mind for it. And I was sitting there and some voice inside of me was like, you can sing this song. You can do it. Don't give it to somebody else. And I was like, okay, I don't think I can, but let me try it. So I sat there and I recorded myself and I listened back and I was like, this actually isn't as bad as I thought. I didn't think this was in my radar, but it is. And then
It's definitely different, but it's good. You sound
yeah,
great. So I'm glad you
thank
stuck
you.
with it.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what, whatever. Part of my brand is just putting out songs. So I was like, let's just go
Yeah.
with it. And then I just did it myself.
Well, we're gonna play that one now. Thanks.
Sweat upon sweat, triggering me. Try to deny it's delicious to me. You wouldn't believe if he were my man, he'd understand what I mean when I say that I got. Though it's hard to explain, but I'll try anyway. All the words in the way got more woman to give. Oh, got more woman to give.
So you mentioned in that one that you write for other artists. Is that something you do often?
Actually, not really. I like to write for myself. The only reason I would get another artist involved is if I can't sing it or it just doesn't fit my brand. But I like to write for myself mostly.
Okay. Do you collaborate with, I mean, you said you have your songwriting collaborator, Pam, but do you collaborate with other people for like production and stuff too?
Always. Yep.
Yeah.
Anytime I can work with a new producer or a new writer, I'm always game for it.
Are there collaborators you frequently use, or is it just whoever's around or whoever you admire?
It's a little bit of whoever's around, who's available, who wants to work on a song together, especially here in Nashville. The rotation of songwriters working with other songwriters is very like spin the wheel, see who's available kind of a thing. Very rarely, at least in my experience so far, do you just like work with the same people over and over and over again. The only reason why I work with Pam so much is because she's my friend and I have a good rapport with her from New York, but I haven't really found that niche in Nashville yet.
Okay, that makes sense. Are there any songwriters or producers you haven't had the chance to work with yet that you would really like to?
I mean, yes, but they're all way, way famous, like Casey Musgraves or Zach Top or, Dolly Parton. So like, yeah.
I mean, yeah, speak to it.
Yeah. I mean, I
One
think
day you
Casey,
can go
I
back
think
and play this and say, see, I spoke it into existence.
truly, I mean, I think Casey Musgraves is one of the best writers that we
Yeah.
have out there.
Do you have any recommendations for how to find collaborators or like build professional connections in the community?
You got to be social, especially here in Nashville, you have to put yourself in social situations like writers rounds and go to performances and talk to the artists afterwards. So it's really about just getting your face and your voice out there and then talking to them and saying like, I really love your song. I would love to collaborate with you, and just speak up.
Who would you say gave you like maybe your first break in the Nashville scene?
In the Nashville scene? Hmm.
Or anywhere. I mean, we were talking about Nashville, but if you have a different story, that's fine too.
Yeah, I guess it's funny because I don't consider myself broken into yet. So it's like,
You know
well,
what? That's fair.
yeah.
That's fair. I mean, you have a touring show. That's not nothing.
I know, but that was all me.
Well, then there you go. You gave yourself your own first break, and
Yeah.
that's crazy.
I mean, I guess I have little pockets of people who have encouraged me to continue along, but at the end of the day, I am my own producer. I am my own tour manager and artist and person. I will say, first and foremost, it was probably my parents, follow your dream, go to New York, go to Nashville, tour, do your thing. And then when I performed with Matt Friedman opening for Miranda Lambert, obviously she's wonderful. She's a one of a kind as well. And she said, you got to follow your heart, go to Nashville and just, put in the work. And so that encouraged me to actually move, like actually just pick up my stuff from New York City and move to Nashville. And then once I got here and I was doing the bar scene and I was grinding, and I was like, I can't perform in bars anymore. This is way too taxing. And that was when I decided to come up with Iconic Women of Music and tour with that. And the person who decided to be my first booking agent was John Salloway. And so he was the one that got me a lot of shows my first year in Nashville. And he encouraged me. He's like, oh, you're a really good songwriter as well. You got to do both. So I would say those are people to definitely give shout outs to, and that they're the ones that are encouraging me to just keep going. And eventually you will get your big break with, Sony Records or something, but
That's totally fair. So were you doing country music here in New York too? Or, well, you do like a
I was
country
doing,
pop mostly.
yeah, when I was in New York, I did a little bit of like pop country rock blend. And then I feel like I still have stayed true to that because that's who I am as an artist. It's just a little bit different in Nashville because most people play a little bit more country. So some of my songs might read a little bit more country because of the people who I'm working with now. But I would say I don't think it's really changed that much.
Throughout the years, how have you cultivated your fan base?
I guess just performing as much as possible and then making people like you enough to want to follow you. So I will perform as much as I can when it comes to like, Rae Radick, and do festivals and private parties and stuff. And then of course the wedding bands and all of the different bands that I'm a part of. But then afterwards, you have to do a good enough job where people come up to you and say, I want to follow you. What's your name? How can I, stay in touch with you? So I would just say probably just the amount of shows that I've done.
What are some things you bring with you on tour that like you absolutely need?
My nebulizer and my steamer.
Okay.
That is so, I can't stress
Yeah.
enough how important that is as a vocalist. So when you're touring and you're on the road and you're in hotel rooms, it is very dry. And your voice needs to be hydrated in order for it to work. So it has to be hydrated. So when I'm on the road, it is like so strict. So I will have my humidifier on to the max, and then it will just hydrate my room. And then I will steam my vocals as well, just to make sure that is, nice and lucrative. And then there's also a nebulizer, and a nebulizer it consists of salt water as well. And that just kind of gets, it helps with the throat, and it goes into the lungs as well. So those are the things that I cannot live without.
What advice do you have for emerging artists to help them break through the noise?
You gotta believe in yourself. The amount of people who will intimidate you, the amount of people who will tell you what you're doing wrong, what you need to change, it is a lot. So you have to know who you are. You have to know what you stand for. You have to know what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And then believing in yourself, because people will tell you and try and give you advice. And some of the advice may be helpful, but some of the advice is not true to who you are. So just know who you are and believe in yourself.
That's great advice. I like that a lot. Okay. And our final question is, what is your music industry hot take?
Speaking of authenticity, I went to the CMA Fest this past weekend, and some of the artists right in their introduction, it would say, oh, coming on stage is this person, and they have 1 million followers online or 500 million followers online. And I was like, oh my gosh, they must be really, really good. And I would watch them, and their songs were mediocre and their stage presence was mediocre. And so my hot take is I think that artists these days are focusing more on numbers than the actual quality of their performance. You know, back then, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, Dolly Parton, they didn't have to worry about being on their phone and posting 5 times a day and getting their numbers up. They just worked on their craft. And I think that's taking away from quality these days.
I like that one. That's a good one. Because I agree.
Yeah.
Your views do not equate to your talent. So that is a very good take.
I know it's controversial, but if you've got 500 million followers and you're giving an average performance, then you're
Then you're
dropping the ball.
influencer. Sorry. You're not a
Exactly.
musician.
Yep. Yep.
That's a good one. All right. All right, Ray. So we're going to play a little game. So normally the game we play is sort of like a trivia game. So yours is a knowledge check of all of the women in your show. I'm going to give you their birth date and their hometown, or the birth date and their birth
No.
town, and see if you can get it. Okay.
Oh no, I'm gonna be so bad. Okay.
I have faith in you. All right, ready? Let's start.
Don't.
August 28th, 1965 in Windsor, Ontario.
Shania Twain.
Shania Twain. Perfect. September 1st, 1957 in Havana, Cuba.
Selena.
Gloria Estefan.
Uh,
August 16th, 1958 in Bay City, Michigan.
Michigan. Madonna.
Yeah, Madonna. Nice job.
Ooh.
December 13th, 1989 in West Reading, Pennsylvania.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. January 1943, Port Arthur, Texas.
Tina Turner.
Janis Joplin.
Ooh, yeah, I would not have got that.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought she was from California. March 25th, 1942 in Memphis, Tennessee. And in your defense, a lot of these people are from Tennessee. So
Memphis. Tina Turner.
Aretha.
Oh.
January 1946, Locust Ridge, Tennessee. It's not Tina. Who's someone else?
I know Dolly's from the Appalachian Mountains.
It's Dolly. Good
Oh,
job. May 20th, 1946, El Centro, California.
Stevie Nicks.
Chair.
Mm.
July 15th, 1946, Tucson, Arizona.
Linda Ronstadt.
Linda Ronstadt. Nice. January 10th, 1953, Brooklyn, New York. Now, there are two New Yorkers in here, and they're born in the same year, so
Oh gosh.
I'm so sorry. But
Okay.
here's the first one.
Trying to think who's in my show from New York besides Lady Gaga.
Who's not in this? Sorry.
Yeah. Trying to think. Brooklyn.
This one was a surprise to me, personally.
Would it be Hart?
It's Pat Benatar.
Oh, okay.
But then here's your other New Yorker, also in 1953, but June 22nd, born in Queens, which is just, the borough over.
I don't know. I really don't know. Who's left?
Cindy?
Oh,
Is she in your
Cindy.
show?
She's not, but I know she's a New Yorker.
That's on me. I'm so sorry.
Wait, no. She is. I don't sing her. The bassist sings her. But
Oh, it's Time After Time. That's right. The bassist
Yeah.
does sing it.
I was
Yeah,
like,
okay.
wait, I don't
Sorry.
sing her. Yes, that's right. No,
And he
you're
does a great
you're
job.
right.
May 26th, 1948, Phoenix, Arizona.
Who's left? I don't know.
You did say this person's name already.
I said already. Okay, it's gotta be Tina. No, I don't know. Stevie Nicks. I'm just gonna say Tina.
You
That's
got
gotta
this
be
one.
Tina.
That's Tina. August 9th, 1963, Newark, New Jersey.
Whitney.
Whitney.
Yeah.
And I think this is the last one. September 22nd, 1958, Wynwood, Pennsylvania.
I don't even know who's left. I don't know.
Joan Jett.
I was like, this is not my thing.
I was like
That
hopeful
was
that the towns would maybe help, but yeah, I knew it was tricky.
No, that was
was
awesome.
fun.
That was probably my favorite part of this. I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
good.
I don't know.
Well, I'm
That
glad
was
you had
perfect.
fun.
Yeah, this was great.
Ray, before you go, so you're on tour with your iconic women of music. What cities do you have left?
Let's see. We've got Sellersville, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, I don't know how to pronounce it. It starts with an M and it's really long.
It's all right.
Starts with it's a crazy amount of letters. We've got Pittman, New Jersey, Bayonne, New Jersey,
Oh, nice.
McMinnville, Tennessee, 2 places in Sylvia, Georgia, some other place in Newman, New Georgia, and Woodstock, Georgia.
Ooh, okay.
So we got all
Nice.
those left. Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to shout out before you go?
Oh gosh. Shout out to everybody who's staying authentic and staying true to themselves regardless of numbers and regardless of getting other people's approval, and just being who you are and being confident in that.
I love that. Rae, where can everyone find you?
Socials. I am the most active on Instagram. I check my
Okay.
Instagram multiple times a day. Facebook as well, although Facebook I'm not as quick on the uptake, but Instagram, Facebook, you can listen to me on Spotify, YouTube as well. I should be doing TikTok more, but that's just too many. It's too many
exhausting.
platforms. I'm sticking with my 2 and that's
Yeah.
it. But you can follow me on TikTok if you want.
Sounds good. And it's just Rae Radick on all of them?
Yep, RaeRadick.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming and making time for us before your show tonight. It was really, really great to chat with you.
Yes, thank you so much. And again, I apologize once again. I thought getting to the venue early before my show was a smart idea, but I apologize for the background noise.
No, it's okay.
It's live music here.
It's live music. It's DIY. We're doing what we can.
Exactly. And thank you to the listeners as well. You're the best.
Yes, always. Thank you. All right, guys. See you next week.
'Cause hot girls always win.
Thanks for listening to Emily Spins It, presented by the Indie Music Network and Not Dead Yet Media. This episode was produced by Heather de Armas and edited by me, Emily Mills. Our intro and outro music is Hot Girls Always Win by Really Blonde. If you've enjoyed the episode, please support the podcast by sharing, subscribing, and leaving a review. You can also follow the show on Instagram and YouTube at Emily Spins It. For more shows about breaking through the noise, head over to the Indie Music Network podcast. If you have questions or feedback, contact us at notdeadyetmedia.com/contact.